To Kill a Child by Stig Dagerman, translated by Steven Hartman with Lo Dagerman. It's a peaceful day as sunlight settles into the field of the plain. Soon bells will be ringing, because today is Sunday. Between fields of rye, 2 children have just come upon a footpath that they have never taken before, and in the 3 villages along the plain, window panes glisten in the sun. Men shave before mirrors propped on kitchen tables. Women hum as they slice up cinnamon bread for the morning meal. And children sit on kitchen floors, buttoning the fronts of their shirts. This is the pleasant morning of an evil day, because on this day, a child will be killed in the 3rd village by a cheerful man. Yet the child still sits on the kitchen floor, buttoning his shirt. And the man who is still shaving talks of the day ahead, of their rowing trip down the creek, and still humming, the woman places the freshly cut bread on a blue plate. No shadows pass over the kitchen, and yet even now the man who will kill the child stands near a red gas pump in the 1st village. He's a cheerful man, looking through the viewfinder of his camera, framing a shot of a small blue car and a young woman who stands beside it, laughing. As the woman laughs, and the man snaps the charming picture, the attendant screws their gas cap on tightly. He tells them it looks like a good day for a drive. The woman gets in the car, and the man who will kill the child pulls out his wallet. He tells the attendant they're driving to the sea. He says when they reach the sea, they'll rent a boat and row far, far out. Through her open window, the woman in the front seat hears his words. She settles back and closes her eyes, and with her eyes closed, she sees the sea and the man sitting beside her in a boat. He's not an evil man. He's carefree and cheerful. Before he climbs into the car, he stands for a moment in front of the grill, which gleams in the sun, and he enjoys the mixed aroma of gasoline and lilacs. No shadows fall over the car, and its shiny bumper has no dents, nor is it red with blood. But just as the man in the 1st village climbs into his car and slams the door shut, and as he is reaching down to pull out the choke, the woman in the 3rd village opens her kitchen cupboard and finds that she has no sugar. The child, who has finished buttoning his shirt and has tied his shoes, kneels on a couch and sees the stream winding between the alders, pictures the black rowboat pulled up into the tall grass of the bank. The man who will lose his child has finished shaving and is just now closing his portable mirror. Coffee cups, cinnamon bread, cream, and flies each have a place on the table. Only the sugar is missing. And so the mother tells her child to run over to the Larsens to borrow a little. As the child opens the door, the man calls after him, urging him to hurry, because the boat lies waiting for them on the bank of the creek, and today they will row much, much further than they ever have before. Running through the yard, the child can think of nothing else but the stream and the boat and the fish that jump from the water. And no one whispers to the child that he only has 8 minutes to live, and that the boat will lie where it is today and for many days to come. It isn't far to the Larsens. It's only across the road, and just as the child is crossing that road, the small blue car is speeding through the 2nd village. It's a tiny village with humble red houses and newly awakened people who sit in their kitchens with raised coffee cups. They look out over their hedges and see the car rush past, a large cloud of dust rising behind it. The car moves fast, and from behind the steering wheel, the man catches glimpses of apple trees and newly tarred telephone poles slipping past like grey shadows. Summer breathes through their open windows, and as they rush out of the 2nd village, their car hugs the road, riding safely, surely, in the middle. They are alone on this road, so far. It's a peaceful thing to drive completely alone on a broad road. And as they move out into the open plain, that feeling of peace settles deeper. The man is strong and contented, and with his right elbow he can feel the woman's body. He's not a bad man. He's in a hurry to get to the sea. He wouldn't hurt even the simplest creature, and yet, still, he will soon kill a child. As they rush on toward the third village, the woman again shuts her eyes, pretending those eyes will not open again until they can look on the sea. In time, with the car's gentle swaying, she dreams about the calm, lapping tide, the peaceful, mirrored surface of the sea. Because life is constructed in such a merciless fashion, even 1 minute before a cheerful man kills a child, he can still feel entirely at ease. And only 1 minute before a woman screams in horror, she can close her eyes and dream of the sea. And during the last minute of that child's life, his parents can sit in a kitchen waiting for sugar, talking casually about the child's white teeth and the rowing trip they have planned. And that child himself can close a gate and begin to cross a road, holding in his right hand a few cubes of sugar wrapped up in white paper. And for the whole of that minute, he can see nothing but a clear stream with big fish and a wide-bottomed boat with silent oars. Afterward, everything is too late. Afterward, there is a blue car stopped sideways in the road, and a screaming woman takes her hand from her mouth, and it's dark with blood. Afterward, a man opens a car door and tries to stand on his legs, even though he has a pit of horror within him. Afterward, a few sugar cubes are strewn meaninglessly about in the blood and gravel, and a child lies motionless on its stomach, its face pressed heavily against the road. Afterward, 2 pale people, who have not yet had their coffee, come running through a gate to see a sight on the road they will never forget. Because it's not true that time heals all wounds. Time does not heal the wounds of a killed child, and it heals very poorly the pain of a mother who forgot to buy sugar and who sent her child across the road to borrow some. And it heals just as poorly the anguish of a once cheerful man who has killed a child. Because the man who has killed a child does not go to the sea. The man who has killed a child drives home slowly, in silence, and beside him sits a mute woman with a bandaged hand. And as they drive back through the villages, they do not see even one friendly face. All shadows, everywhere, are very dark. And when they part, it is in the deepest silence. And the man who has killed a child knows that his silence is his enemy, and that he will need years of his life to conquer it by crying out that it wasn't his fault. But he also knows that this is a lie, and in the fitful dreams of his nights he will try instead to gain back just a single minute of his life, to somehow make that single minute different. But life is so merciless to a man who has killed a child that everything afterward is too late.